I'm Michelle Kreisel, Artistic Director of Charlottesville Opera. March 23rd and 24th will be the East Coast premiere of Middlemarch in Spring by Alan Shearer and Claudia Stevens, based on the great George Eliot novel, Middlemarch. We're thrilled that Rebecca Mead is traveling from New York. She's staff writer of The New Yorker, written about so many fascinating subjects, but more relevant for us is the author of My Life in Middlemarch, how every year that she rereads Middlemarch, she understands more about her life, and her life informs more that she understands about the novel. Rebecca Mead will speak before the matinee on the 24th.
I first read Middlemarch when I was 17 years old, and I was living in England in a provincial town on the south coast and studying to take the entrance exam for Oxford University. And I read Middlemarch in order to prepare for this exam, but what I didn't realize was that I was also preparing for the rest of my life, taking this, reading this great big book that seemed to have so much wisdom in it about how life could be lived, how life might be lived, how it should or shouldn't be lived. So I loved the book then, and every time I go back to the book, something new is revealed to me, some new storyline, some new character, some new aspect of the authorial voice, some new dimension of the book comes into greater focus, greater relief than it did in the past. Part of the thing is I just have to pick it up and start, thumbing through the pages and reading pages and just thinking, oh my God, this is so great, I have to read it again. I think it's one of those books that is perennially on the list of, the greatest novels written in the English language. And if you read the New York Times book review has a column called By the Book, in which they all interview authors about their favorite books. I always notice when Middlemarch comes up as one of the great books that writers and authors appreciate and turn back to. I have never met Claudia in person. She wrote to me in 2014, which she said that she was working on this opera and explaining to me what it was and what she had done and the choices that she had made, and it sounded absolutely fascinating. I was very intrigued by what she proposed, and I'm fascinated to see how she's executed it. George Eliot herself was very musical and loved music. It was a very important part of her life. I think there's something very appropriate about using music as a way to elucidate the story and a prism through which to see this story. The novel is a masterpiece and a mountain to climb, and any way in which readers and appreciators of the arts can be brought to it is a very good thing as far as I'm concerned. So I'm thrilled at the idea of there being an entry point for people who have an interest in music but maybe haven't read Middlemarch, but that can go and appreciate in what I am sure is going to be an absolutely delightful way the ways in which Claudia has been inspired by this story and moved by this story to create her own work from it.